This is the day we've been waiting for, picking up the car. Let's check it out. What's up, man? Whoa! What?
Almost done here.
So what I'm going to take you through is the design process that took over 3 weeks from start to finish. The design and the actual wrap and rewrap and modification. It was inspired by what you're seeing right now is the Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche primarily. So they have a bunch of different cars with this sort of livery or however you say it, but I've just liked this wrap design. And so we modeled it after this. We watched this on Grand Theft Auto. We slowed it down, figured out exactly how this was put together and try to mimic it as best as possible. We changed it up a little bit. Of course, this is a Porsche, much shorter vehicle from front to back compared to a Tesla Model S Plaid. But if you put these side by side, you can see where the inspiration came from, and we copied it the best we could. I put this together to figure out all the different shapes. I did that in some other program that I had. And anyway, so here's just some of the behind the scenes of what it was like. I was over there at Sticker Status, so shout out to Ryan right there. He's the computer genius graphic designer who just works at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I took some footage of him working just so you can get an idea of what goes into doing this, as far as figuring out how the hood is going to transition to the front bumper, and then how that's going to wrap into the front quarter panels, for example. These were all the trial and errors that we did to try to get it as close as we could to what we were looking at on the Dempsey Proton Porsche. Next step is printing and then mocking it up on the car. And that's where we could really figure out the scale, the size, where everything lines up. And this was just a trial and error. It says scooted up on that one right there because we scooted it up on the hood. And we're trying to see how this matches up. This is the laminating process. So after it's printed, before it goes on the car, once we have the final version, we're happy with it, has to be laminated to protect the color, protect the print. And so then from the laminator, it goes on to then be applied to the car. And prior to that, of course, the car needs to be prepped and cleaned. So it's one final cleaning, laser lined up. So there's laser lined pieces of tape there where it's marked as far as to find perfect center, because this design's symmetrical and centered and has to be lined up and put on just right. And the first thing they laid down was the top. Yeah, we wrapped the glass on the top there. And for those that think that there could be a problem with it heating the glass and shattering and all of that, I'm not too concerned with it. If anyone has anything to say in the comments below, let me know, but I've seen lots of other Teslas that have wrapped the roof without a problem, and this car is not in the sun for long periods of time, but that turned out really nice. They gave us an idea of what it was going to look like. That was the first thing, like I said, that was wrapped. And then after that, it was on to sizing up the hood. The problem with the hood, though, this first print was not big enough, so they had to reprint it. Lots of reprints on this one. Big job, lots of work. So they got the whole side printed. There's a time lapse of I stopped by to check on it multiple times and help out and throw in my 2 cents for what it was worth. And we talked about where we wanted everything to line up on the handles, on the charge port, on the wheel wells. And there was just lots of back and forth, moving it up and down, where it was going to end up on the side skirts. And then finally, when we were happy with it, then these guys pulled off the backing and they started to apply it. So something you'll see here when you look at how the hood lines up with the front quarter panels, the pattern does not blend over to the quarter panels because the whole side is lined up and the hood is a separate piece, and there's some patterns that don't match. And that mismatch bothered me. I really wanted it to be congruent from looking from the front, so the bumper went into the hood and the hood went into the front quarter panels. So just doing a walk around, you can see how the whole side lines up perfect. It all blends, you know, from back to front. Top looks nice, but then when you get to that front quarter panel right there and the hood, it just doesn't look good. It's a different color shade right there too, so didn't like that. The hood also was supposed to be pulled down more. You see how the very front of the hood, so they're finishing it up. This is bugging me. I go talk to Ryan. They're real adamant about, we'll do this and redo it until you're happy, which bless their souls, because they reprinted a lot of stuff. And so just a couple walk arounds just to show you the progress. Everything in the back looked really good, so that was good to go. Didn't have to do any redos there. But again, when you go and you look at how it transitions from the hood to the front quarter panels, it just bothers me. Didn't want to leave it like that. So fortunately, we did not leave it like that. So I'll show you a little bit about the process of what it takes to figure this out on the computer. So that's what the print looks like. Should be pulled down, so we had to redo the hood, pull it down, print it differently, and then they're redoing the hood. So first they redo the hood, we get that set, they get that set. I keep saying we, they're the ones doing the work. I'm just there as the cheerleader and helping with the organization of the design. Ryan's the one that did all the design. So they put that back down, got that all where it needs to be, so that the end of those triangles and flush nice and clean with the end of the hood, so it transitions into the bumper. You'll see when they get the bumper on how it looks. It comes together really nice. So just more footage of pulling off the backing, applying the wrap. And they go through the heat gun to help cure it and really get it adhered. The surface of that wrap is a little bit self-healing, so to speak, so any sort of imperfections or whatnot come out, looks nice and smooth. Now keep in mind we're doing PPF, paint protection film, over these spots as well. So now you look at the passenger side and you look how it doesn't blend. You see how the hood and the quarter panel doesn't blend? So I drew this out, we got some measurements, we figured out how to reprint that corner panel, flip around some of the patterns, so that blend with the bumper, blend on the side. So now here's Ryan getting to work behind the computer, and this is me sitting next to him, and this is online. I'm at home, I'm watching his computer screen, we're talking on the phone, we're walking through this whole thing. So we figure out which colors to flip-flop so that this front quarter panel can be reprinted, line up perfectly with that little like hazmat almost looking sign coming onto the front of the passenger side door. Reprints it. It has to relaminate it again, of course, and then they got it lined up perfect. They did a great job. So Zach, main guy, wrapping it, and of course the other staff there at Sticker Status doing an awesome job putting this thing together. Major project, and it came together so nice. That's an old one of the hood. This is showing how this side didn't match up well, didn't like it, so this is what it looks like redesigning it. So he cut out the little fender, put it right next to it, figured out how to reprint the hood, or take the hood and extend it into that front corner panel so the pattern just lays down perfectly. And then how do you transition it with the driver's side door? Because remember, we're pulling that wrap off. It used to line up on the whole driver's side. Now that door is going to be that odd pattern. So we had to just physically print this on some kind of lower quality vinyl first to get it figured out. We had to print it several times to figure out how it was going to work. That was going to be a black bar right there that was going to transition into the fact that there was a lot of black on the front of that driver's side door. Ryan and I went back and forth a few times, and this is the final product on the passenger side. Blends awesome. Driver's side blends awesome, so you can see them side by side. So it has a really nice effect when you look at it. This is an old picture again, how it didn't blend. And then back to the walk around. So the bumper doesn't perfectly transition to the front quarter panel, but it's pretty close. But you see how that quarter panel blends in the door. This whole side stays untouched. Yeah, there's a little bit of pattern that doesn't match on that rear bumper, but it's fine. It doesn't really stand out. And then we actually redid that passenger side rear quarter panel, so see an updated version of that. Fenders were rolled out as well. Did some body work at Auto Express before they rolled this out. Probably got 3/4 of an inch clearance because my 325 30/20s for the track going to the road course were scraping. Notice the big wheel gap right there. That's because it's in the highest setting on the air shocks. I'm still running the air shocks. It's one thing I have not gone all out and changed to a race setting. So that ugly big tire gap looks like an off-road Model S Plaid, but look how rolled those fenders are. Nice and smooth body work, and now I can clear probably like 355s in the rear. So here's the hood now lined up how it should be, the front bumper in place. You can see how it just transitions and flows so nice. Love it. I love how it turns out. We put the Unplugged Performance front carbon fiber splitter on there, and then here's just some other footage. I also have the Unplugged Performance brake duct cooling set up as well for the front brakes, and I have an Unplugged Performance carbon ceramic front big brake kit as well. And the last part was now putting PPF. We PPF'd paint protection film on the front bumper. We did the whole Unplugged Performance carbon fiber splitter, wrapped the whole thing. That was a big job. Even the bottom of it, because it's such a beautiful piece, wrapped it with paint protection film. Wrapped the hood and both of those quarter panels, and then a couple strips in front of and behind the rear wheels, just to protect the heavy traffic spots when driving on the road or racing on a track. There's the rear. And then this is the Dempsey Proton Porsche compared. And last final touch, it's about time, put an Unplugged Performance little emblem on there. Thanks for all your support, Unplugged Performance. Kirk and Unplugged has helped me out tremendously along the way. If you need anything for your Tesla, talk to Kirk at Unplugged Performance. Here's the final product coming out, lowering the suspension so we get rid of that ugly wheel gap so we can actually see what this thing looks like. Shot these in verticals, so that's why I had to do this effect. Sorry about that ahead of time.